Okay, you got NFL quarterback tier list. Okay, so you got your elite, almost elite, above average, average, below average, trash, and an unknown. Okay, so first up, you have Tom Brady, obviously elite. He retired, but in his final season, he threw like 5,300 yards and over 40 touchdowns as a 44-year-old. He is elite. Then you got Joe Burrow. At the This season, he has been elite so far. He drove his team all the way to the Super Bowl, and during the last half of the season, he had a great run, and he just lost to the Super Bowl. But I'm not sure if he's elite. You know what? He's elite. He's almost elite. If he has one more season in like he did during 2021, I'll put him an elite. But one great season is not enough to be elite. You have to be consistent and good. Then you got Dak Prescott. He had a good bounce back season, and he had a good season overall, but he has a ton of weapons, and he is definitely a very, very good quarterback. But I would not put him in elite just yet, and I put him in almost elite. Then you got Ryan Fitzpatrick or Tyler Heineke. Personally, I think they're both average. Heineke has some of his good moments, and at times he looks like he's an above average, and at other times he just does not look great. And Fitzpatrick is definitely hot cold. Then you got Patrick Mahomes, obviously elite. He had another great season, and obviously elite. Then you got Tyrod Taylor slash Davis Mills. Davis Mills had probably one of the better seasons, second best for a rookie, and he has 16 touchdowns, like 10 interceptions. If this was Tyrod Taylor, I'd put him in below average, but since it's Davis Mills, he only played like half the games. I put him in unknown. Then you have Sam Darnold. Right now, I put him in trash. He definitely still has more potential, but things did not work out in Carolina, and they did not work out with the Jets. And it's been years. He's been in the league for like 3, 4 years now, and there's just not much improvement. Then you got Jared Goff. I put him in average. He definitely had a decent season, even with the terrible Detroit squad, and he was not as bad as people said he was. He definitely had a few bad moments like he usually does, but nothing terrible. And as the Lions, he definitely had these moments. Then you got the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers, if he stays, Jordan Love would be an unknown, but Aaron Rodgers definitely. He only threw 4 interceptions, and 2 of them came in the first game. He threw like 40 touchdowns, 4,000 yards. He was the MVP, obviously elite. Then you got Zach Wilson. I put him as unknown for now. He had a very good second half. He only threw like 2 interceptions during his final ever since he came back from the injury, and he played a lot better down the stretch. Early on, it was hard to watch though, and I say he's still unknown. He definitely has a ton of potential though, like he showed later on in the season, but who knows how well he'll do this season. Then you got Russell Wilson. I still say he's elite. He had one bad season, okay? One bad season only. The rest of his career, he has been elite. He definitely started after his injury. He started off a bit slow, but he picked up near the end though, and he did not throw a lot of picks. And near the end, he was starting to get his groove back after that early season injury, and and I think he's gonna have a bounce back year next year. Then you got Daniel Jones. I put him as average. He's definitely not terrible, but he's not a franchise guy either. He has his moments as well, but his accuracy is so off. He has the talent, he has arm, he has size. He's actually quite fast. His accuracy is bad though, and I can see why the Giants are moving on from him. Then you got Kirk Cousins. I put him in above average. Kirk Cousins, he's just not a win. He's just not very clutch, and he's not really a winner. He does good stuff. He has puts up big stats, but he's just not a winner. And that's if you're a quarterback, winning is kind of the most important thing about football. And he's just not a big winner. Then you got Josh Allen, obviously elite. He had another great season, do like a ton of touchdowns, and his deep ball is as pretty as ever. Has probably the strongest arm in the NFL and running game. He's now sustained good back-to-back great seasons, and he's definitely now considered elite. Then you got Justin Herbert. I put him in almost elite. He had another good season, over 30 plus touchdowns, but similar to Kirk Cousins, he has just not won a lot. He missed the playoffs this year with a 9-8, and I know that's kind of a team sport, But if you want to be elite, you also have to win a lot. Then I got Ryan Tannehill. I put him in above average. Once Derrick Henry got injured, he definitely slowed down, but he's still an above average quarterback. And even when Derrick Henry got injured, he still at times won the game for them. But in the playoffs against better teams, he just can't do it. That's probably keeping him from going any further up because against good teams, he just cannot carry the team. And overall, since coming to Tennessee, he has been almost elite with Derrick Henry. But once he's out, Tannehill just can't carry the team. Then got Tua. I put him in below average. He just doesn't have the physical tools. His arm is weak. He's not really athletic, and I get that Miami does not the best place to play. Their offensive line's not that good, but Tua really hasn't showed much so far, and that's why he's still at below average. Then you got Tyson Hill slash Jameis Winston. Let's see. Jameis Winston, I put him at average. Tyson Hill, I think he's a trash passer. Everything else he's pretty good at. Overall, I'll just put them at below average. Jameis Winston here was having a great year starting off the season before he got injured. And Tyson Hill, he's just not a quarterback. His arm is inaccurate, and his arm is inaccurate, and his rushing ability is probably the best thing about him as a quarterback. Then you got Kyler Murray, almost elite. Just near the end of the season, he started to slow down. Once he gets injured, without his rushing ability, his arm kind of shows a bit. He has a tendency to throw picks, and even when he was healthy, he still throws pick. And without his running game as a pure passer, I'm not sure. I don't think he's elite yet. Then you have Derek Carr. He's definitely above average. This season, he managed to win. He has always had like 30 touchdowns and like 10 picks, like every single season for 3,000, 4,000 yards. He has been very consistent, but he just hasn't put the Raiders over the top yet. And he hasn't put up. He hasn't had. He had a great season, but he hasn't had an elite season, like an MVP worthy season, like many of these other elite quarterback has. So that's why he's still at above average. Then you got Jalen Hurts. I'll put him at average for now, average or below average. He has a great running ability, and he can take over games with his arm. He has multiple like 3 touchdown plus games so far, but he's just inconsistent. His arm accuracy is inconsistent. He either throws like 3 touchdowns or 3 picks, but his rushing abilities kind of makes that up for him. As a passer, I put him as below average, but as an overall quarterback, I put him at average. Then you got Baker Mayfield. I put him at average as well. Without his run game, he's at best average. With his run game, he can be above average or almost elite, but without it, and injured, he's just an average quarterback. Then you got Jimmy G slash Trey Lance. Trey Lance, obviously an unknown. Jimmy G, though, put him at average. I think he gets too much hate on him, and it's easy to do since he has a tendency to overshoot or undershoot the ball. But he had a very good season. The San Francisco's are a winner with him, and he has his moments, like against the Rams when they were behind. But he's either good or he's very bad that you start hating him. He overshoots, undershoots ball that lead to interceptions. But when he's on, he's on. Then you got the Denver Broncos, which would be Bridgewater slash Drew Lock. They're below average. Drew Lock is trash, but Bridgewater, he's just not a dude to win you a game. He can game manage it. He's a game manager pretty much. Then you got Stafford. I put him in almost no, I put him at elite. He won the Super Bowl, and he's very clutch. I think he led the league or was second in the league in touchdowns. He has to knock down the interception. I think he 17 in the or like more than that in the postseason plus interceptions. So that might knock him down to almost elite because of those INTs. But I think since he won the Super Bowl and he has been very clutch in the playoff, very very clutch. And he has played very very well. I think he's elite. I think he's right now elite, though he has to cut down the interceptions. You got Justin Fields, unknown. The Bears, their just offense just wasn't very good. Justin Fields, he threw like twice as many interceptions as he did touchdown, and he was just not very good as a rookie. He clearly, Clearly, he had potential. He has a great runner, but Chicago's just not the best place for a QB. Then you got Lamar Jackson. Put him in almost elite. He has to be a better passer. His run game, elite, way above elite. Probably the best or second best running quarterback, but his passing, though, is just too inconsistent. Big Ben, put him in average. He's retired now, but his last season, it was hard to watch. You can clearly tell he was washed. He was under. He had no arm strength. He would underthrow balls, be inaccurate, and last season just wasn't a great season. Then you got Matt Ryan. Put him as above average. And he has just been consistently above average every single year, throwing like 30 plus touchdowns and like less than 10 INTs, 4,000 yards every single season. He just does not win a lot because the Falcons aren't very good, but he's definitely an above average and almost elite quarterback. You have Carson Wentz. I think he's below average, and I say this because he's just not very clutch. Jonathan Taylor, I think Jonathan Taylor carried the Colts. When he was on, they were winning, like during their 0-1 and 4 start and their last 0-2 ending. When Jonathan Taylor was not the best, Carson Wentz could not make up for it. I know he had 27 touchdowns and less than 10 picks, but when it mattered most, he just could not do it. And you got Mac Jones. Then you got Mac Jones. He's average. I think the Patriots were carried off their defense. Mac Jones did not have to do much, and he did the right things when he needed to. But overall, he did not have to really carry the team. He had nice throws, doesn't throw a lot of picks, but I can't put him anywhere above average. He only had like 22 touchdowns and had like 13 picks, something like that. That's a very average stats. Then got Trevor Lawrence. Did not have a great season, but it's the Jaguars. I put him as unknown. There you have him, my NFL tier list.